All right, so welcome everyone to the membership portion of our Evolve District 3 conference. This one is on strategies for retaining and growing membership in a small market. So Midlands leaders Jeff and Valerie are going to basically give a case study of what Midlands did last year to grow their membership and kind of give you tips and tricks of what you can do. A lot of people say because they're in a small market, they have a hard time growing AAF members. But they're going to share with you how they kind of still able to grow despite being a small area. So Jeff and Valerie, I will hand it over to you.
Okay. Well, thank y'all for having us. Yeah, the Midlands has always been very strong in our corporate and individual creative members, freelancers. It's a great mix. And we definitely took some new strategies the last few years that we feel like would really help you out with growing your membership. So we decided to make it personal. When we took it over a few years back, you know, it's one of those things that's you get in that monotonous, we'll just email members and they'll rejoin. But we found that that was not the case. And so we decided to make it personal the last few years. And we started by asking for face-to-face meetings, especially in this new normal that we have. Zoom call would be sufficient, but we definitely wanted to meet with all of our corporate members and tell them, you know, just how much we cared about them, and also get their opinion on what we could do for them, providing them with the best membership possible. And of course, when you ask for a face-to-face meeting, you're not always going to get it, but we did have a lot of face-to-face meetings, and they were very appreciative of us reaching out.
And if I can jump in real quick too.
Sure.
Last year, when we were calling and we went down the membership list, calling past members, existing members, and things like that, we made it personal even over the phone, and you know, thank them for their participation and contribution over the past couple of years to make them feel appreciated. So that's, yep, the phone calls definitely is very important. You're right on it. Sorry.
And you know, and even Valerie took it a step further. You're thinking about club achievement. And so her and Kevin, who ended up being what we titled the dynamic duo, took some funny photos while they were calling all of the renewals. And we submitted that for club achievement as well.
Thank you. We did. That was pretty fun.
All right, let's see. Personal notes go a long way in business, and especially thanking your sponsors and your members, especially your corporates, make up a big part of your membership. Mm-hmm. And you know, getting their take on things is very, very important. If you decide to make changes with the organization or your membership, which, you know, we've decided to make some serious changes this year due to COVID, it's great to get their buy-in. It shows that you care, and you should, because this is an organization of a lot of different people, and we want to make sure that we're all inclusive of everyone.
And you're so right about that too, when you said to ask for their opinions. It makes them feel like their opinion matters. We want to know what they need. How can we better cater to them? So that is very important part of it. You are correct.
And of course, do not send an email and ask somebody to be a member. Make that personal touch. That's what it is all about. And it will pay dividends, not just for renewals, but for new members as well. I don't know if it's on one of the next slides, but it's always good. We've focused highly on the corporates, and your individual members matter as well. You've got to reach out to those, you know, one-person marketing teams. They really want engagement too. And if you welcome them into your group, make sure you're engaged with them at the first luncheon, introduce them to people. That goes a long way with individuals as well. And
in addition to that, even after your first initial meeting, follow up with a call. Thank you. It was so great meeting you, things of that nature, just to kind of keep the dialogue going.
And our communications team this year and their goals, we're going to make sure we look at every Eventbrite, and if they're a non-member, we're going to make sure that we follow up with them to increase membership.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's very important. That's going above and beyond, but it's something that should be done. And you'd be amazed at how that'll change your membership numbers for the better.
And right now, if I can add, right now is if you haven't started, it's very important to make those calls, those contacts now, to let people know that AAF is still going strong. We've got an exciting year plan to get that excitement going, so that people don't think, oh, COVID is going on and they're not going to still meet. So this is the time to get it started, get the conversations going, and create excitement.
Absolutely, Valerie. All right, we're going to move along to know your audience. You have to cater to your current members. Renewals are very, very important with your membership process. Had a longtime member last year come to our oyster roast, and he told me, yeah, I don't think I'm going to do it this year. And so after about 5 minutes of telling him all of the different things that we're offering this year and how we really wanted to win National Club of the Year, and we were gung-ho, he went right over and joined 5 minutes later. You just got to show that personal touch, and you can't hide passion. If you have passion for your organization, it's going to shine through. So just have honest and open conversations, have fun with your members, and that will pay dividends.
I remember that too. I remember that when that happened. And if any of you all, when you first meet Jeff, he is passionate about AAF. He will get everybody fired up and excited. So, and he's authentic with it. I'm in sales, so I know a fake, but he's very authentic with it.
Yeah, thanks, Val. I mean, it is true. To be a salesperson, you have to believe in what you're selling. And it's just very important to cater to your membership. So of course we've said corporate. One thing that we're doing for corporate members this year is for our virtual luncheons, which we hope are only 2 to 3 this year, but you just never know. We are going to invite our corporate members to have unlimited connections to our luncheons to give their staff just a little extra added benefit. And of course, we're going to be promoting the webinars and everything else from national and district. But try to give corporate yet another reason to renew in this time period. And of course, think outside of the box. Valerie, you think outside of the box, so you can elaborate here.
Well, I'll just say this. If there is an organization that has any type of product, service, even a state agencies, they don't always call them marketing directors. I think they call them program directors. A lot of times they'll have an initiative that they need to promote. They don't know anything about advertising. So those people need our organization to get connected, to know, to network, to learn about the industry, so that they can handle that type of thing. So, you just gotta, if it's an organization that has a product or service, it's something that they're probably trying to promote or trying to develop business or trying to create awareness. They need us.
Yeah, and like I said earlier, going for the people that are just one person on a marketing team of a small business, mm-hmm. that's a brilliant way to do it. You also have to consider your mosaic chair or diversity for some targets. And let's remember that your board is your membership. They're your membership team, not just a membership chair or co-chairs. It's a complete board effort. And so it might be something to say, invite 3 members, 3 people that would love to join AAF. And if you have a board of 15 and you could convert, 1 or 2, that's a significant increase in your membership right there.
Mm-hmm. A school, university.
Yeah, and you know, a lot of those university teams, they have a lot of different sections and teams within their journalism school or public relations. They can join as corporate members, and there's usually a lot of different areas within those universities. You've got to communicate your value and, of course, your passion. So you've got to buy in and know, not only know your membership rates, know what offers and value that it delivers for your membership, and get creative, especially this year, with how can we deliver more than ever virtually. Educating your members, giving them things that you wouldn't normally give. I think it's really challenged everyone to go above and beyond and to save not only your renewals, but to promote these virtual luncheons as kind of like a trial for new members. So that's very important.
Agreed.
Programming. So we're shooting for the stars this year with our virtual sessions or luncheons for the first 2 to 3 there. We're shooting for national speakers. We're hoping that they will bite and do it for free. But it's great to take advantage of this situation and bring on speakers that you wouldn't normally get, like a national speaker that might have a fee and needs a plane flight and a place to stay. Well, doing it virtually, you might be able to pay them a small fee and get some top-rated programming that will help drive your membership. And of course, education. We love the networking. That's always a plus. That's excellent. But you want to make sure that your members are taking 1 to 2 things away from all of your luncheons and all of your programming that they can actually apply in their personal lives or their professional lives. I know for years, and what really drew me were the luncheons. It would get me thinking creatively about something new that I could apply to my business.
I'm glad you mentioned networking, because when I first saw that, to me, my biggest takeaway was the networking, because it connects you to other people that are in business on higher levels that you're on, and you just never know. You end up working together at some point. So that's a huge takeaway as well. So I'm glad you mentioned that. But education is good also. My favorite was the March Madness, but anyway, I digress. Go ahead.
Yeah, and that's another thing, and that leads right into this. Everyone loves to be recognized. We're taking an effort this year with our communications team. For every new corporate member that joins, we're posting about it. We're going to send thank you letters or thank you notes. And even the individuals, new member, everyone loves to be recognized. So that's it's a great post. Also, you might want to promote your board as well with a little 3-sentence thing about a question asked, or that's what our board is currently doing. How has COVID impacted you professionally or positively? So we're trying to promote our board as well. Do not be afraid to promote your board, because oftentimes your board members are on other boards and staples in the community. So it's great to let everyone in the community know what great leaders you have on your board. Thank your sponsors. Yes. We all know if you've sponsored anything that everybody is going to sell you and get the money, and then they never say thank you. And that's awful to say, but it's so true. If you can engage your sponsors and send them a personal thank you so much, we can't wait for next year. Just that alone, it would be great if you know them, take them to lunch afterward, say, how did things go? Great. It goes a long way, because a lot of people are not doing that. I can tell you that for sure.
I often say those 2 words, thank you, are 2 very important words in the English vocabulary that we forget to use, especially as salespeople. But they go a long way, and our sponsors are our partners. So thank you is very important. Thank you.
Yeah, and that's just a simple thank you. It's just amazing to me. I've promoted a lot of stuff in the past with different businesses I've been a part of, and that's just a follow-up that leads you to next year. And even sending them some photos of the event and say we had a blast, thank you so much, because a lot of times sponsors actually do not come to your events. So if you could follow up with a couple of great photos, that might be a good way to say thank you as well.
Good idea.
Promote job opportunities. You definitely want to have a job bank on your website and offer that to the membership. A lot of times, people bounce around a little bit more often than they used to in the past, but you want to promote the job opportunities and the talent that you have in your area. So it's just another facet of membership that you offer to all of your members to get good people. So, and we know that's very tough to do. Okay, so this is kind of our mantra. Membership is the lifeblood of any organization. If you do not have members, you don't have an organization. So it's crucial to understand that it really all starts with membership. We also understand that, the American Advertising Awards are a huge facet. We want to make sure that that is promoted at nearly every event. But membership is very, very important. And if you can utilize the two together, I think it's a win-win on both sides there. Of course, we made it personal. It really, really paid off. We had some lofty goals last year. We didn't quite get there, but we added on a lot of corporates that should have maybe been members in the past. And I personally remember going to lunch and saying, have we done something? And they were like, no, not at all. We're like, we noticed you didn't submit any entries for the American Advertising Awards, and we were very concerned. And that started the conversation. And by the end of the lunch, they were like, you let us know what we can do. We want to be a corporate member. Let's do it. So you just got to show that you care and, show your passion. Don't be afraid to do it. It's really special when you see people engage in that way. So 2018, we pushed hard. We did a little promotion towards the end of the year, and we did get it to our 100 members, 101 maybe. And we brought it to 112. Our goal was 125. I like to shoot high. I know that Valerie and Kevin did a fabulous job last year, but do not be afraid to say that in your club achievement. Say, hey, we had a goal. We fell short, but we're going to work on it next year and we're going to improve. That is what I believe they like to see, is the fact that you set goals. And if you reached them, wow, you knocked it out of the park. But if you didn't, you're just honest about it. And that's what goals are there for. So you're slowly reaching higher and higher. So in 2020, you just want to deliver your value more than ever. And I think it'll pay off for everybody. What do you think, Val?
I completely agree with you. If you miss it, the next year, make it even higher. Keep raising the bar. Just keep raising the bar, raising the standard and stuff. I completely agree. Making it personal, be authentic. It will resonate with the person that you're talking to. And as you stated, yeah, membership is the bloodline. You got to keep them in the funnel, got to keep talking to people. You got to keep promoting, promote, as you say. So I completely agree with you.
And, like we had mentioned a time or two before, membership is a board effort. We all work together as a team. If we ever recruit anyone new, there's a little turnover from year to year, I usually try to tell them, hey, look, you're going to kind of specialize in one area, but we're probably going to be helping out in 2 to 3 areas. and we, oftentimes switch. The next year, you might be the gala chair, you might be the judging chair. So, it is a team effort. Everyone wants to help each other. All you have to do, don't be afraid to ask your board members for help. If you're a membership chair, and you definitely want to engage in some calling sessions like Valerie and Kevin did. It really goes a long way. And I've done that with other organizations. If you sit down in a boardroom and just make a couple of phone calls each, it goes so much quicker, and it gives that personal feel.
And it's fun.
Yeah, and it's fun. And you get some questions.
Yeah.
And that's engagement with your membership. So that's exactly what you want.
Absolutely. It's a team effort.
So does anybody have any questions for us?
So there are some questions in the chat,
Okay.
so I can feed those to you. The first one, this is coming from the Charlotte market, but any tips on converting agencies or individuals who participate in awards but don't generally express interest in monthly events?
That's a good one, because we have I do know we have 1 or 2 agencies that actually do come to our meetings monthly.
Is a good question here is,
Yeah.
do they have children, or is that a reason why they don't? Is it evening events? Is it luncheons, or?
The
I think
timing.
she's probably wondering, they have the interest in the award side, but they aren't seeking the interest in the professional development. So maybe some ways to reach out to them to encourage them to come to the professional development side.
Well, and then I think that's an opportunity for them to have a conversation with them to find out what are their needs. And you could just play into that, because their needs may not be that, but it may be something else that their local chapter can assist them with. So she probably needs to have more dialogue with the agencies to find out specifically what are their needs this year. How can we help you? We want to focus more on that. What do you think, Jeff?
Yeah, I agree, Val. That's a great point. It's funny because you'll see some people at a happy hour event or something like that, and then you'll see some people at a luncheon. Some people are busier than others, of course, and can't take away for an hour and a half for a luncheon. But you'll see them at a happy hour because then they're done working and they can have a couple of drinks and get to know everybody. So it really depends on, maybe sitting down and having that conversation. That's very, very important. And like Valerie said, that creates the dialogue and also shows that you care.
Great answers. So the next question is, when speaking on promoting the members and sponsors, how do you think the club's social media plays a role? Are there certain promotions you would stay away from, like job opportunities? The Charlotte Club has considered this, especially because of layoffs from Corona.
I'll let you take that one, Jeff. I gotta think about that one.
Okay. I think it's always good to post, job opportunities. It's just yet another value you have for being a member. So, I mean, I understand the layoffs too, but as far as, now I think what was the first part of the question? Was that talking about promoting members?
When speaking on promoting the members and sponsors, how do you think the club's social media should play a role?
Yeah, so what our communications team is doing right now is creating a template. And then they also have created Google Forms for the board where you can promote your bio and your headshot and then answer a couple of questions. And then they use that content, drag it into the shell from Canva, and then it's a quick social post. I think at a minimum, as far as promoting your membership, at a minimum, you should probably promote some of your corporate members. But I think it's also a nice touch to promote maybe a new member that's just joined and fresh. That's pretty cool too. And I know it can't dominate your social media by any means,
Right.
but it shows that you're recognizing members,
Mm-hmm.
and that's a part of the membership process.
Mm-hmm.
Excellent. So this question, I'm not sure if Midlands has thought about this, so if anyone else in here wants to kind of add to it in the chat, feel free. But the question is, has anyone had success with a rolling renewal date? I know Midlands kind of does July 1 to June 30th. Has there been any consideration of doing a renewal? And if anyone else on the call is considering it, feel free to put that in the chat.
Well, I did hear earlier in one of the sessions, and this might be something to consider, where you just have an automatic renewal, which would be great. But then again, that also provides maybe a little laziness on the part of membership, and then you disengage with your members. I think a rolling renewal, just the only thing with that is then you have to track renewal dates, and that gets a little tricky sometimes, because I have done that with other organizations, and it becomes a little bit of a nightmare. So I do like the full year. You push very hard towards your kickoff event. We utilize early bird rates, and this year we discounted even further, letting people know it was a one-time discount and showing our empathy for the pandemic. And I think you push hard in the beginning, you make it personal, you do the phone calls, and I think that'll go a long way. Valerie, I think last year we were up there by kickoff. I think y'all started early. I think about a month and a half early.
Yeah, we started early because I was like, hey, let's just get through these calls. Let's start early. And I mean, I talked to someone yesterday, and they said, oh yeah, we've already got it budgeted in. So, you know, we're definitely going to do it, whether, you know, it's going to continue or not this year. I said, oh, we're going to continue. We've got speakers lined up. So we're definitely going to continue. He said, well, we've got it budgeted in. So, you know, yeah, we started early last year.
Yeah, and I think, I want to say y'all were at 80 or something crazy by the beginning of the year. So utilize your kickoff this year. We used to do an art auction, and that kind of became a little bit of, I would say a little bit of a nightmare, because you're having to get the artists in, you've got to get easels, you've got to, so there was a lot of moving parts. And given the pandemic this year, so what we decided to do is kind of a play off of the brewery that we're going to have it at, which is outside, very distanced. They've got COVID policies and procedures in place. So we're going to have a band. The band, we've used him as acoustic over the years. Well, he said he'd bring in his entire band, cut the price in half because they're really not playing right now. I said, man, that's awesome. So what we're doing to engage the members that maybe do not feel safe or have people at risk is we're streaming the show to our members so they can have an in-home concert and still enjoy our kickoff. So those are great examples of everyone getting on a Zoom call, getting creative, and innovating their way inside of their members' homes. I mean, that, when I heard that, I was like, that's a great idea. I know they knew how to do it. So you just got to think out of the box and look. Unfortunately, this is an awful thing that's happening, but how do you go above and beyond creatively for your members? And that's what we're really focusing on this year.
I think that's a great answer. And then tomorrow there's also going to be a session on programming, of course, focus a lot on virtual ideas, and things like Jeff just mentioned will probably get brought up in that session too, since so many are planning, hopefully not virtual all year, but more than likely it's going to be a virtual all year kind of year. So one question that just came up from our Roanoke market is, what happens when someone joins later in the year? Do you prorate their dues?
First of all, we love Roanoke and had an awesome district conference up there. That was so much fun. So great question. What we had done in the past, no, usually with corporate, since they're getting discounts on entries, we don't typically do that. One thing that we did for a promotion one year was offer the first time associate rate, but if you're an associate member, you have to pay for your luncheons. So with those being in person, we said, you know what, we'll comp a few luncheons and we'll still offer them the associate rate. And that came with great success, got us to the number that we needed. And it's hard for somebody or a friend or someone you think that should be involved to say no to $100.
Right.
Especially if they've not been a member before,
Mm-hmm.
and they can come check it out. So it was kind of like a trial period thing. You know, we ate a couple of luncheons, and of course they didn't come to every single one. But it was a good way for them to see AAF and see what we do and enjoy the speakers and the networking. So that was one thing that we did. But typically, it's tough for us to discount a corporate membership in half or anything like that. That's just not how we operate.
Right.
Excellent. And then you had mentioned, I think the Midlands is going to consider doing a discount due to COVID-19 and so many events having to be virtual. And obviously you don't have to take on the extra expense of having to find venue and food for those virtual events. Can you maybe elaborate for clubs who are just now starting to figure out what their membership is going to look like this year to make sure that the value is still there? Can you maybe elaborate on what Midlands is doing going into the year for their membership levels?
Do you want to know the rates?
Yeah, that would work.
Yeah, go ahead, Valerie.
Sure. So the corporate gold is $1,150. I've got.
Say the regular rate too.
I don't have. You would ask me the regular rate.
I'm screen sharing.
Okay, I'll say the 2021 rate. You say the regular one. Okay, let's do it that way. Let's tag team each other. This is a team effort. So, what are you thinking about, Jeff?
I'm thinking about the rates. I think the $1,450 for corporate gold.
All right. So the COVID rate is $1,150. The corporate rate is $775 for 2021. Individual membership is $199, and the associate membership is $95. But you still.
So we discounted corporate gold used to be and not early bird rate. Okay, full price was $14.95.
Mm-hmm.
Corporate was $10.40. Individual was $275,
Mm-hmm.
and associate was $98. So looking at that, we discounted $14.95 to $11.50, $10.40 to $775, $275 to $199. Just sounds better than $200.
Yep.
But it also, taking that into account that you're not having an in-person luncheon, you're not paying for the food
Mm-hmm.
and or the space. So consider that in your budget if you haven't already, and then do the numbers and see what works best for you. We wanted to make sure we did not lose members this year.
Right.
And this shows that we care. So this might be a little secret. I don't know if it's district. Okay. So we are pitching it as early bird rate, and then we're probably going to keep it at early bird rate and then say, thank you for being a member. We're going to do this for you all year long.
Excellent. So that's
Perfect.
probably a good idea for the clubs to kind of think about as they start promoting their membership for the year, offering some kind of discount, making sure you're still covered. It's been mentioned in previous meetings, it'll get mentioned in the board meeting tomorrow, that the district has decided to waive district membership dues this year just to help out our clubs. It's a cost that we are willing to take on to help out our clubs this year. So that's something you can kind of look at. National will still be having membership dues, so just keep that in mind. But if you need to have a discount, that's something you can kind of think about. So if there's, I do have one more question. Sorry, go ahead.
And real quick, we did poll and call a couple of our corporate members and individuals to get their buy-in and say, look, we care. What do you think about this? So like Valerie said, there's some corporates that they're like, well, it's a line item. We just want to pay it. And if they decide to do that, you could certainly divert the additional funds to an AES donation. So that's another creative way to use the funds.
Absolutely. And this comment in the chat is, it just says, John in a previous American Advertising Awards session also mentioned You can also discount your entry rates for American Advertising Awards as another way to kind of have some wiggle room with those membership rates. So just something to keep in mind.
Absolutely.
All right. Well, as you can see, Valerie and Jeff's email addresses are right there. If you have any more questions about what they're doing in the Midlands market, I'm sure they'll be happy to talk to you more. Reach out to anyone at the district level. All of our information is on aafdistrict3.org. This is our last breakout session for today, so thank you for being on it, but we'll have our social here in just less than 30 minutes where we'll have trivia, so it should be a good time, and then we'll have a full day planned tomorrow. So thank you, Jeff and Valerie, for hosting this event today.
So thank you. It was fun. Thanks, Linda. Thanks, Jeff.
Thanks.
Yeah, thank y'all for having us. By all means, if you have any questions, reach out to both me and Val, and we'll definitely get back to you.